Have you ever wondered how professional streamers can split their audio so that they can play music over their stream and not hear it in person, or hear their own music and not hear it in stream? They probably use a professional mixing board. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret. You can do that too, for free. Hi guys, I'm Ron DePasquale, or Mr. Ron Goose on social media. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and streaming live on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 10 p.m. Today we're going to look at a free program called Voicemeeter, and how you can use it to create a professional sounding stream without expensive hardware. Using a product like Voicemeeter or a digital soundboard serves two purposes. First purpose, it lets you split your audio stream so that you can manage what sounds come in over your stream and what sounds you hear on your computer. The second purpose is to split the audio so that it sounds clear on the stream. More audio tracks means more channels, less compression, more data coming across your stream for clearer, richer sound. Using a little bit of these techniques, your stream can sound a little closer to a professional stream as well. Let's take a look. Alright, we're going to come over here to our Windows 10 computer, the latest update as of April of 2020. You're going to come over to Google or any other search browser you want to use, and we're going to type virtual audio cable. Enter. The site we're looking for here is the vb-audio.com site. So just find the one that's from vb-audio.com and go ahead and click to that. Should come to this page, VB Audio Software, under virtual audio cable. We're going to go ahead and click the download button to the right here. And that'll download the virtual audio cable. Both these programs are donationware, so they're free for you to download and use, but you can purchase them with a donation, and if you do so, you'll get 2 additional virtual audio devices, A and B and C and D. So if you have other applications that you need to connect, you have additional cables. So basically what virtual audio cable does is it connects 2 programs, something that plays sound to something that records sound, as if you took a wire out of your computer headphone jack and plugged it into the microphone jack. So it serves the purpose of a physical wire, but on the software level. At the top, the other program we're going to need is Voicemeeter, and it's voice with meter spelled M-E-E-T-E-R, 2 E's. And there's 3 versions of Voicemeeter: banana, potato, and then the plain Voicemeeter that we're on. You can use any one of the 3. They're all the same. They just have more channels for each. So bananas, they're more pro software, has a couple more hardware inputs, a couple more virtual inputs. And same with potato. It just adds on other inputs. So we're going to be using potato for this demonstration. You don't have to be daunted by the setup here. It looks complex, but once you understand the concept of Voicemeeter, it's very easy to translate. So we're going to go ahead and hit download in the executable file here. Now once they're both downloaded, I'm going to go ahead and install them. So I'll go ahead and install them now. After you perform both installs, it's going to ask you to reboot your computer. Go ahead and do so. Until you reboot the computer, the drivers don't finalize installing. Once you reboot, go ahead and open up the program Voicemeeter Potato from your start menu. It should look like you see here on the screen. Before we do anything, you should come down here on the bottom right corner, right-click on your speaker icon, and if it's not located right here, hit the little up arrow to find your other icons. Once you right-click on the speaker icon, open Sound Settings. This will open up the Windows sound settings. You want to make sure that your default output device is Voicemeeter input, and your input device is Voicemeeter output. If you don't perform this step, it won't work. Now that we've done that, 2 more items we have to set up in Voicemeeter. You're going to click Menu, and you're going to want to checkbox Auto Restart Audio Engine and Run at Startup. Both these options will load the program on boot up. That way Voicemeeter will be processing all your audio from the get-go. If you don't choose these options, you'll have to open Voicemeeter manually every time to hear any kind of sounds. don't let the complexity of Voicemeeter Potato scare you. It's really rather simple once you understand how it works. On your left-hand side here, you have 5 columns. They all say hardware input. I happen to name the first one Blue Yeti mic, which is the channel I'm going to set up for my mic. These 5 columns all refer to a physical device, such as my microphone, something that plugs into your computer to use as a sound input. These 3 columns next to it say virtual inputs. A virtual input is similar to a hardware input, except that the sound is coming from the computer or some other virtual interface. It's not a physical device plugged into the computer. On the right-hand side, there's a master section. Under the master, you'll have labels A1 through A5 and B1 through B3. The columns A1 through A5 refer to physical master controllers. So again, anything hardware, something plugged into the computer. And these are all the outputs. Above, at the top left here, you have the matching A1 through A5 hardware outputs. So these buttons let you select what physical device is playing sound. For example, your speaker, your headphones. The last 3 columns, B1 through B3, are your virtual outputs. Similar to your virtual inputs, these output audio to a virtual device. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to come over here and I'm going to click on Select Input Device on the first hardware input column. Everything that's plugged into your computer that has a audio input will be listed here. They'll either start with WDM, KS, or MME. All those 3 combinations mean are the different audio drivers that are controlling the device. If you can, I would stick with the WDM, which is the Windows device driver. If you have problems or delay, any latency, you can go ahead and try MME, and if you have problems with MME, you can KS. In most cases, WDM should work. So in this case, I'm going to choose my Blue Yeti microphone. Okay. I'm also going to choose my hardware outs. A1, I like setting to my regular speakers. So I'm going to go ahead and choose my speaker under WDM again, same options. A2, I like setting to be my headphones. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my headset earphones, my Arctis 7. If you have other speakers, any studio monitors, or anything else you want to output that's physically plugged into the computer, you can choose any of the A3 through A5 now and choose those other devices. In my case, I'm just using a set of headphones and speakers. On each one of these columns, anytime you have an input coming in or an output going out, you'll see these audio bars moving. These should be matching my voice coming from the microphone. Right hand to the column, you have the A1 through A5 and B1 through B3 again. These refer to what output this input is going to go to. So when I first started, I had A1 selected, and you'll get feedback and echo since my speakers and microphone are right next to each other. I can turn on A2, and now the audio is going out to my headphones. As you can see on the right hand side here, A2, my headphones, is now playing audio. The top panel of all these inputs is first there's the IntelliPan menu. Similar to an equalizer, you can move this dial around to change the sound of your voice coming through the microphone. If you click again on the screen in the same spot, it resets to 0. If you right click on this screen, it switches to modulation. If you can right click again, position, where you can change where the sound sounds like it's coming from between your left and right channels, forward or back. The first 2 dials here, compression, we're going to leave it 0. That's basically a gain, make you sound louder if you need to boost the level of your microphone. Since this microphone is set already with a gain, I'm going to leave it at 0. And then gate, and what the noise gate does is it blocks sound below a certain level. So you can turn this gate up, and it should block sounds such as your keyboard clicking, the wind blowing, or your breath. For now, I'm just going to leave it at 0 until we can adjust that later. Special effects and external effects, I'm not going to go into in this video. It does, again, just adjust how the microphone sounds incoming to the computer. Something I didn't mention previously is that also in this bar, similar to that noise gate option up here, which blocks sound below a certain level, if you click in this meter bar and drag down, you can limit the audio coming in on the high side. So it works in opposite. This will block sound above a certain level, and the noise gate up here will block sound below a certain level. So we're going to go turn that off again. My hardware input 2, I'm going to go ahead and hit the drop down, and you're going to try to find VB-audio virtual cable. So this is that second piece of software that we installed previously, the virtual audio cable. So we're going to go ahead and choose that as our second input. If you right click on the name up here, this lets you change the name. So I'm going to happen to change this one to Chrome, referring to the Chrome browser, because that's where I'm going to send my audio to, and then hit enter to save the name. If you need to edit it, same thing, just right click and you can edit it, enter to save it. Now on the right hand side here, you can see our Google Chrome browser is already listed as coming in on this input. So the reason we could add this is to give you a little bit further control. For example, later on while we set up OBS to use these inputs, we can actually use the audio cable input so that sound can go to OBS and over your stream or in your video recordings. But you can turn it off so you're not hearing the music playing or the audio. So I have some audio playing in Chrome right now. You can see the bars moving, and you can see that the other bars are moving too to show that the output sound is going through the headphones. To set this up so that the Chrome browser or any other program is using this virtual audio cable, we're going to come back down here again and right click on the speaker icon, open sound settings, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll have app volume and device preferences. If you click on that, anything that's playing a sound currently, you can choose the output and input to where they're sending it to. So in this case, I'm going to take Google Chrome and output it to my Voicemeeter, or I'm sorry, the VB audio virtual cable. As soon as I did that, you can see that these bars are now picking up the browser audio. If I go ahead and pause the browser, you should see the bar stop playing. And I can hit play, and it comes back. If I leave Chrome on the default, or on the Voicemeeter input, you'll see that this bar is no longer receiving that audio. But if I drag this out of the way, you can see that the Voicemeeter input is receiving the audio. Looks like the song just changed, and there it is. You can see the audio is playing on this input, but not this virtual audio cable. So again, if I shrink this, you can see both. I can go ahead and change Chrome to my virtual audio cable, and now it's receiving on this hardware input, but not here anymore on the default Voicemeeter input. This virtual audio cable you can do without, and you can just use the default Voicemeeter virtual inputs here. But this setup allows you to customize your stream and what's being heard on your speakers versus on the stream. So in either case, this is a good spot to stop and ask if you have any questions. Please find me on social media, in the Discord channel, Twitter. We can offer you some advice and some help. Otherwise, we're going to continue with the setup. So now we're going to flip over to OBS and talk about the setup in OBS. In OBS, you're going to come over here. The first thing we're going to do is go to Settings. Come down to Audio. You're going to set the sample rate to 48 if your internet can handle it, the computer can handle it. And we're going to turn off everything here. So I'm just going to leave my Blue Yeti plugged in and enabled, just because that's what I'm recording off of. But in your case, you're going to disable everything, because we're going to set up new new devices to match our Voicemeeter. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is set up 5 new audio capture sources. 2 audio input sources, which I've named Mic and Chrome Audio for my microphone and my browser. And then 3 audio output devices, one for Discord or TeamSpeak if you use TeamSpeak, desktop audio for your computer audio, and music audio if you use a music app like Spotify or YouTube Music. If you open up each one, I'll show you what I have set. For microphone, I have it set to the Voicemeeter aux output or the aux VIO. If you're recording directly from the microphone and you don't want to send the microphone to Voicemeeter, you can just go ahead and choose your microphone here. But for my case, I'm going to leave it through Voicemeeter. Chrome Audio, I have set to the VB virtual cable, which is the same thing we have set in Voicemeeter Potato. So we'll talk about why that's important shortly. Discord, I have it going to the Voicemeeter aux VIO. My desktop audio to Voicemeeter input, just Voicemeeter VIO. And music audio going to VIO 3 input, the Voicemeeter VIO 3. So the reason we set Chrome separate from desktop audio is so that you could split it. For example, you can't hear any music playing because I've muted the Chrome audio in OBS. But if I come to Voicemeeter, you can see that my cable output has sound playing. There is music playing in the background. So if I turn on my speakers by clicking A1 here, you'll hear it coming over my microphone. Similarly, I can turn off A1 so I don't hear any music playing right now. But if I come over here to OBS and unmute the audio, and I'll turn down the volume a little bit, you should hear music playing now. So I don't hear any music playing, but you should hear it. And this is why this is important. If you're doing a stream or recording a video, your audio could be quiet and you can concentrate on what you're working on and have no background noise. But if you want a low music or some sound to be playing over your stream or your recording, you can have that happen just like I'm doing here. All right, let me mute that so we can move on. All right, real quick, we're going to go open up Discord. And if you go to your settings, voice and video settings in Discord, we're just going to make sure your input device is set to default and output device is set to default also. Once we have that set, I'm going to come back here, right-click your speaker icon, and this could be done earlier. We're just going to handle it now. Open sound settings. In the sound settings, on the right-hand side, you're going to go to Sound Control Panel. And this will open up the older Control Panel sounds window that you might recognize from older versions of Windows. Playback device. We're going to scroll down, and on Voicemeeter Input, we're going to right-click and hit Set as Default Device. It's not here because I already have it set as Default Device. For Voicemeeter aux input, we're going to right-click and choose Default Communication Device. Under Recording, similarly, you're going to scroll down and find Voicemeeter aux output and set that as the default device. And that should about cover the basic setup. Alright, so to recap, we set up Voicemeeter Potato and the VB virtual audio cable. I've set my hardware input 1 to my microphone, my hardware input 2 to Chrome, which is going to the VB audio virtual cable. We opened up the sound advanced settings and sent all our browser audio to this virtual audio cable. That's how we're picking it up here. I'm sending right now my microphone audio to my A2, which are my headphones, and B2, which we've set as the default recording device for the Voicemeeter, the Voicemeeter aux input. I don't have any other hardware, so there's no input 3, 4, or 5. Our virtual inputs, I have both playing on my speakers and my headphones. That way you can toggle them individually, but I generally leave them both on since my headphones are either off or my speakers are on. You can see here that you have the applications in here, but since Chrome we've told to send to the cable output, the sound will be picked up in cable output and not in this VAIO input. Remember the B1, B2, B3 on the virtual outputs here refer to the VAIO input, aux input, and VAIO 3. Something we didn't talk about before is any one of these channels have a mute button to instantly mute the sound. It's also mute on these inputs, a solo on the inputs, which mutes everything except the channel you've selected solo on. Something I didn't mention over on the virtual inputs is you can have the drag down limit just like you could on the hardware inputs. Equalizer controls are on the top. And then don't forget to set your hardware out. So in my case, A1 is my speaker, A2 are my headphones. We went into OBS and we covered basic setup on these 5 new audio devices. You can see here's each one of the audio devices. And again, this is important because now you have more control, full control over what audio is being sent to your stream, what audio is being heard on your computer and your headphones. And the second benefit of this is as you split these streams up into different audio feeds, it's actually transmitting greater data over your stream and into your recording. So instead of one audio channel or 2 audio channels for a microphone in your audio getting compressed and sent into your stream or into the video, you now have all 5 sources getting sent over for better audio quality. So that should help you out with your stream quality as well. And I think that about covers the basic setup of Voicemeeter Potato. Hopefully it wasn't too much and you can give it a try. The best way is to install it yourself and give it a whirl, see if it works out on your computer. And there you have it. That's how you make your stream sound a little more professional using some free and easy to use software. I'm Ron DePasquale, Mr. Ron Goose on social media. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and streaming live on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursday nights at 10 p.m. I hope to catch you there.